Well, to the surprise of no one, I didn't actually press the go live buttons. So I've just introduced the entire stream and nobody could hear it. Guys, you know what you're in for with these streams. I would say I'm a little bit rusty, but you know what you get. You know what you get with these. Oh dear, what a colossal fail. Hello, yep. Okay, cool. We're live. I was like, why is no one saying anything? Oh, I haven't pressed the go live button. Fantastic. Hey Paul, hey Sema. You've reached 9,000 subscribers. Yeah, 9,000 and 900,000. Exactly, Mike. I feel like it was a 12k bump since the last stream. Congrats. Thank you. Yeah, it was a while ago. I think the last stream was probably towards the end of February. So, but it feels like forever. Yeah, it really does. Soon 1 million. Yeah, that'd be crazy. Hutton, hey. I was just singing along without the song. Thanks a lot. Oh, sorry, Mike. It's catchy, isn't it? James, hello. Excellent. Right, we'll get some segues in there today as well. I was wondering why I didn't see anything. I know. I mean, to be honest, like, you know what you're in for with these streams. Like, sometimes we start the stream and I'm just blasting out music. Sometimes there's no screen. It's just black. Sometimes the stream doesn't start at all. I mean, you know, it's just like a really terrible lucky dip. Zach Johns, hello, what's up? Tell us about your trip. I misspelled the number by mistake. Yeah. I know, Sema. You left up a couple of zeros there. Reese, hello. Sir Lallington, hi Dansky, been a while since I've watched your stellar live sessions. Hey, it's good to have you back. It's good to be back, actually. For anyone who doesn't know, I went to Louisiana in the US recently for a week to stay with a friend. And yeah, that was a ton of fun. Really, I ate way too much chicken. Way too much fried chicken. Like, it wasn't even funny. It was just silly by the end of it. And I've probably put on about half a stone. But anyway, oh, please don't let the PT join the stream. We've got Liam. He's our PT, and he sometimes joins the streams. But hopefully he won't hear that confession because we're being weighed tomorrow. So I'm kind of dreading it. Oh, hey, Christian, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, that was a really, really good catch up. I really enjoyed that. Hopefully everything we covered was helpful. Will you share the new Dropbox link? Yeah, so there's a Dropbox link in the stream description. If you want to submit your work, then I will try and get through as many as I can today. Who's that? Is that you, Poppy? Okay, so you're logged into Elijah. Elijah's my youngest son. Oh, no. So we've got Leo. Leo's probably going to end up on here. We've got the other one on here. He doesn't even, he can't even type or spell words, Pops. So, yeah. He'll just end up spamming the chat, I think. And didn't come to North Carolina and say, hey, I know. I do want to visit North Carolina, though. It's just, I've not been to that many places in the US. And I think we talked about it before, Reese, and I've been looking up some pictures, and I'm just kind of like, this looks really nice. I wanna go there. I don't know what the difference between North Carolina and South Carolina is. Is there like a big difference, or is it kind of sort of similar? I know there's other places, like you've got South Korea and, well, the other one. Anyway, we're not going to go there, but they're quite different as I understand it. Arnett, hey. I'm just finished booking my hotel. Nice. Or Boston. I even offered lobster and our excellent seafood and history. I can't say I've ever tried lobster before. That would be an experience. Yeah, I would love to see a bit more of the US. Vegas is great. Yeah, so Vegas was, I think, that was the first time second time I went to the US. That was for my first Adobe Max in 2017. So they flew me out to Vegas, but I didn't see any of Vegas because everything was happening in this giant hotel. It was all kind of, the whole event was contained. So the hotel and the conference center was like this big one connected thing. They even had like a supposed outdoor area, even with like a fake sky and everything. So it felt like being outside, but you were still inside the hotel. It was, yeah, it was crazy actually. So, like it wasn't until like the last day of Adobe Max, it was like, oh, hang on, I haven't stepped outside in 4 days. That's why I feel a bit weird. Oh, okay. So South Carolina is kind of similar. Yeah, I know they're two different states. Someone's just gone between the two and drawn a big line. Southern US vibes though. Oh, I love it. I love it. Even just going out for breakfast in Louisiana, and a waitress comes up and goes, "Hey, how y'all doing?" It's so endearing. I absolutely love it. The southern hospitality and how friendly everyone is just so real. I just absolutely love it. For North Carolina, just look up the Blue Ridge Parkway and you'll see what's up here. Okay. Blue Ridge Parkway. Lobster tastes like chicken, basically. Well, as you know, I have an obsession with chicken, so I think that's going to be a win. Poppy, so you're in the car park. Poppy's joined the stream from the school car park. Nice. The dedication. Adobe Max is on my bucket list. I've only been virtually. Visit Bangladesh. I will treat you to a barbecue. Oh, nice. You had me at barbecues a kid. I'm a sucker for some fried chicken and a bit of barbecue sauce. Gumbo, yes. I had some of my friends. She had gumbo, and I tried it. Yeah, it was quite nice actually. I didn't order it myself. I was literally exclusively fried chicken only with cheese and barbecue sauce. That's basically what I ate for 90% of the trip. I drank a lot of bourbon as well. Yeah, probably a bit too much, but what design? I love this. We'll get to the design stuff in a minute. It's been a while. Just while everyone's chatting about North Carolina and the US, we'll just throw in a cheeky segue. Here's my course, Adobe Illustrator. It'll teach you everything I know about Illustrator. There it is. And if you are interested in getting 15% off, then you can sign up there as well. For that. Yeah, I know, Mike. Dansky Travel Channel. Second channel, maybe? Oh, funny. Yeah, we'll call it like Travel with Dansky. And then we can just basically travel around the world, visiting everyone in different places and getting to sample different foods. Fried chicken, barbecue, lobster. We've had quite a few food offers so far in the stream. So I don't know, maybe there's scope to do something like that. Yeah, the travel vlog second channel. Basically, so what do you do? Oh, I run a YouTube channel. I just go around the world and people feed me. Oh, funny. Okay, right. Let's get to some design stuff. We have some great vegan restaurants in Georgia. Hey, I'll be up for some. I mean, I know it's not chicken, but I'll be up for some vegan food. Dansky food gourmet. I'll eat anything. Moosh, hello. Give me a Dropbox link. There is my barbecue image. The link's in the stream description. So if you want to upload your barbecue image, it will be received loud and clear. Okay, so we're going to start off with this one first. Oh, we've got a bunch of different files here. Right, let me open these up. Feel free to carry on talking about food. What do we got? It's a bit of a project. We've got an XD file. XD? What's that? Yeah, oh, wow. Oh, I didn't see that in the preview. Okay, we'll get to that. That is meaty. Yeah, apparently Adobe aren't going to, at least last I heard, they're not going to be reviving XD, even though the whole kind of Figma thing fell through. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. How do you guys feel about that? Or maybe there's some updates since then that I don't know about, but I would have thought if Figma wasn't going ahead, they might revive XD, or I don't know, maybe Figma's just so dominant at this point. It's not worth doing. I don't know. I do love XD. I was hoping they would carry that one on. Okay, anyway, right. Green Nest Context. This is a fictional project. Green Nest is a Scandinavian-based company that makes sustainable modern home interiors. I'm new to design and currently working on this project. All images are made with Adobe Firefly and FreePic. So I think that's referring to the photos. Okay, so this could be quite a nifty way of using AI to quickly kind of generate some mock-ups. If the previews of what I'm seeing are correct. Yeah, so we've got a mock-up there. Let's try and find the logo first, though. Let's try and do this in some sort of logical order. Okay. Right, we've got a couple of... Oh, hang on. We've got a cheeky white one there hidden. You cheeky sausage. Right, let's pull you into the middle. Okay, so we've got the logo, Green Nest. We've got a tree. And then we've got something that I presume is representative of a house. I don't know if it's... I always see these pictures of these triangular wooden houses in the middle of a forest. I don't know if that's like a Scandinavian thing or not, but I mean, they look amazing. But if it is, and it's to do with interiors, then that with the tree and the kind of triangular shape, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, Hutton. So Adobe were going to buy Figma for an exorbitant amount of money. And yeah, Mike said that Figma won the battle and the territory that collapsed as a result was the land of XD. Yeah, so they were going to buy Figma and it went on for ages and then it fell through. Not sure. I know Dreamweaver is to go like the dodo. I did use Dreamweaver back in the day, but A-frame, yes, I think that's what they're called, isn't it? I quite like the logo. I missed these streams. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Sarah. I did too. I really did. Figma's great. Yeah, Figma is a solid design tool. Very like intuitive, like coming from a lot of Adobe stuff. Having never used Figma before, especially from XD, I found a lot of stuff very familiar just without me needing to spend ages looking up how to use the damn thing. It was just very intuitively done. So I found that transition going over to Figma just really kind of seamless. Anyway, back to the logo. So we've got a serif typeface here. Let's have a look at this. We'll scrutinize every little pixel of this logo. So I don't know if it... Whoa, hey, what is going on with that corner there? Why are you rounded? You're not supposed to be rounded. I mean, it doesn't change the appearance. Yeah, so that doesn't really matter. But what I was going to do was just... There's part of me, right, okay, let me try and actually explain what I'm trying to explain. So you see the width here. Let me just bring that down. This width here is pretty consistent all the way down, more or less. And then here, the angle kind of shifts, so it forms that tree. But of course, then the width starts thick here, and as you go down, it gets thinner. And then here, it's even more like aggressively tapered towards the bottom in terms of this kind of this gap. So I don't know. There's part of me that's like, let me see if I can bring these out. Do you see what I'm getting at? So should they kind of maintain a constant width as they go down and still retain the form of a tree? Or should they be, as it's already been done here, kind of, you know, we're not going to worry too much about matching up the angles and everything to create a more natural tree shape, I guess. So I don't know if I'm being overly kind of, oh, everything must line up here. I know that's kind of typically what I'm very much, that's kind of how I roll, but I don't know if I'm just overthinking it a bit too much. I probably would personally, because with all the angles here, I would like all of these to be the same. That's probably what I would do, but I don't know. What do you think? Would that be the right call? Or hang on, let me make it a color that's a bit more visible. Yeah, so I would probably have all these angles like that. I'd probably space them equally apart and keep the angles consistent and still try to make it look like the tree. Does that make sense? Oh, no. I uploaded my last random logo design. No, upload whatever you like. Absolutely anything. Yeah, no, this is just one person's brief that I'm doing now. Hey, Dilshan, good to see you. I think the natural tree shape is better. Okay, interesting. Yeah, and I think you might be right there as well. They've rounded off the corners here consistently on all three sides, which is good. Radius here seems pretty similar as well. So, and this is one of those instances where I think mixing up the sharp corners and the rounded corners has some sort of, like, you get away with it because there is some logic to it. You know, the leaves on the tree, this is all sharp, and then the exterior on the kind of what I presume is an A-frame, which is the building, the interior, that all has like the rounded corners, and then they continue that round here as well. So there is some kind of logic to where the rounded corners and the squared off corners are used. I'm not sure about the font. This feels very modern and contemporary, and I feel like the font needs to be like a sans serif font. I think it needs to have that same sort of modern aesthetic. And for me, there's a little bit of a mismatch here between the logo mark and the typeface being used. Dreamweaver is a nightmare. Last I used it was for class 10 years ago. Never again. I used it back in the day when I did like a bit of HTML and I used to manage a few websites. We're going quite a long way back. After you point it out, I agree with you, Ari. Angle staying the same. Yeah, possibly. I think, okay. So Abdul says, I think the natural shape looks good, but your point is also good. Are they building houses or furniture? What was the brief? Let me have a look at the brief again. Scandinavian-based company that makes sustainable modern home interiors. I don't know if that really answers the question. They make the interiors, I guess. Not the building itself. I don't know. Anyway, that's the logo. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I would just try a version that kind of has consistent angles. Maybe, you know, I feel like it's a bit of a nitpick. This does look like a really nice mark as well. I do like that. I got to be honest. Typeface, I would probably try a sans serif one and maybe give it a wee bit more space. So I think it's just a little bit close at the minute, and I'd probably personally I'd nudge it up. It's a tricky one because it's a triangle shape. It's very difficult to figure out what you're going to angle it to. Unless you do that and have it on an angle. I don't know. Makes it easier to kind of line things up, but might might not be ideal. But yeah, I would probably play around with that. Yeah, it's a tricky shape to line up to. You really do have to kind of line that up by eye because there's no kind of straight edge to kind of align things to, and it is kind of sloping away. But yeah, I would just give it a bit more space and use a sans serif typeface instead of the serif we've got here. But all minor stuff. We've got some mock-ups. Very nice. I think we've done a few of these where you got the mock-up and the silver kind of three-dimensional lettering on the outside of a building. That seems to be quite popular. It does look very nice. Shiny silver. We've got some cards. And I can imagine that business card. I can see there's some texture there, but I can imagine that being on like a, I don't know, like a recycled, sustainable something or other stock that has like a nice natural texture. I think that would lean into the whole kind of idea behind this brand quite well. I mean, if this is a business card, we got to get some contact information on there. So personally, I think either of these work. You know, you could have either of these as one side. If you could get the company name, the logo, and the sustainable living tagline all on one side, which I think is definitely doable, you could then mock up the other side, which would be contact information, you know, actual stuff that goes on a business card, essentially. Yeah, another mock-up there, mock-up there. Yep, da, 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 da. And we've got a website somewhere as well. Crazy. I didn't even see this before. So, yeah, we've got some wireframes here. For anyone who doesn't know, this is typically considered best practice when designing a website or app, especially with multiple pages. You want to wireframe everything out first, just because you can then identify any sort of pain points, problems, make sure everything's kind of where it needs to be, and that it well, what you can do from this wireframe is you can prototype everything, link pages together, and you can actually interact with this on your computer or on your phone, and you can actually get to experience the user journey and the kind of flow through the product or the app or whatever it is, sorry, the website or the app, and you can get a good idea of how it actually feels to navigate before you start adding all the pretty colors and bells and whistles and things. So I always like to use the cake analogy. You know, you can design a really, really nice cake, but if it tastes like crap on the inside, it's not going to be a successful cake. You know, people will remember that terrible taste. So you've got to make sure that the taste and the actual recipe that made the cake, i.e. the wireframe, just bear with me on this terrible metaphor. You've got to make sure that the cake tastes great before you make it look great. Does that make sense? So the taste of the cake, the actual sponge of the cake, let's say it's a chocolate sponge, that is the wireframe. And then the icing and all the pretty decorations on top, that is essentially the design. That's how I think about it anyway. No one wants to eat a terrible cake, do they? Hey, Tom. Hey, good to see you. That's a good question. How do you define an interior? I mean, I think, yeah, you're probably right. Everything that's kind of connected to the inside, I would imagine. Oh, good. Hopefully that was helpful. I mean, we've got a lot of web pages here, and I'm sure we've got a lot of other designs to get through. So I'm just going to have a quick whip through the website. First impressions, yeah, looks clean. Logo's probably a tad too big. Navigation is clear. Line spacing, also known as leading, I would spread that out a bit. This is way too much information for a hero image as well. You know, we need this text. If I can get inside, oh, hey, we need that to be like something like, you know, sell it. Like, when that needs to be like a selling point, that needs to grab someone. Welcome to Green Nest is lovely and it's very polite, but we need to give people a reason to stay on this site. So, like, you know, you could type the best Scandinavian interiors. It's something that is going to make people go, "Ooh, okay, yeah, like, we are the best. This is the benefit you'll get. The most sustainable, blah blah blah." Do you see what I'm saying? And then you want kind of, yeah, you can have some supporting text as well, but we want to keep it, you know, short and sweet. Maybe a tad bigger. Space those lines apart nicely. We don't want anything kind of too tight. And then you could even make the call to action a bit bigger. And this is so this is something I come up against all the time as well when I'm kind of designing things. Is there's a very clear color palette here, and I like it. It's great. However, a good call to action creates contrast and stands out. So this green here, it does kind of, you know, it's clear. It's a button. I can see it, but there's a lot of other green bits on here. So what a lot of websites will do is they will have some other kind of colors, some accent colors in their sort of repertoire of colors, if you like. And I'm just trying to get, there we go. Right, I've got into the green. So the green looks consistent. I appreciate that and I love it. However, if I were to change this to a wildly different color, not even necessarily a good color, you see what I mean? It stands out a lot more. Now, would I pick purple? Maybe not. Maybe I'll go with orange or something, or like a bright wooden color, maybe. I don't know. But it creates contrast and it stands out and it draws a lot of attention to it. So I think when doing UI design, it can be very tempting to just think, oh yeah, I'm going to make some of the icons up here with a nice cool color, or I'm going to make this bit color, and then get those brand colors into the page overall. But the use of color in particularly like web design like this, and generally in UI design, it is very important for drawing people's eye to specific things. So like on blah, 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 my website, Dansky.com. Let me just check I'm doing this before I... Yeah. So on Dansky.com, I use orange for my main call to actions. I use it in a couple of other places, but let me just show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. I'm a bit trigger happy with the orange, I'll be honest. But you see here, like, there's a lot of just you know, sorry, what am I saying? It's a very dark color, almost black, but not quite. Lots of black and white, effectively, and then orange is the call to action. There we go. Shameless plug. The masterclass. Yeah, so I try and bit in the icons there, a bit cheeky, but I try and kind of keep it more for the call to action, just because it stands out. It's so bright and bold. So whereas, in fact, I can show you an example of where I've kind of done this. I've probably got a bit carried away. As you can see, I've integrated the orange as I go further down the page. I've probably done it a bit too much. Yeah, so it's basically orange, 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 orange. So actually, you know, to kind of, you know, take my own advice, I could actually use a different color for the call to actions throughout the site, or change up some of the other stuff. Just to create that contrast, you know. Similar kind of points down here. I think the text needs to just have a bit more spacing. The titles could be a bit bigger, I think. As you go further down the page, I think it's fine to have a bit more information. When people are scrolling down, they're already invested in trying to find something. So if you're giving them more information further down the page, that's good. But up here, it's kind of really about essentially getting them to where they want to go on your site. So they might land on this site and they might want to find out more information. They might want to go straight to the store. They might want to get in touch with you. As long as they can do all those things and find the information they're looking for, at least on a site like this, then that's the important thing, I think. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Dansky, hey. Good to see you. Good to be back. An amber gold would be a neat accent. Yes. Amber gold. That's a good shout, sir. Very nice. Got to be careful with yellow, because yellow on white. Ooh. Amber gold. Let me just... Amber gold color. Oh, I see. Yeah. It's kind of, at least the one I'm looking at is sort of wooden as well. Yeah, maybe something like that. It might need to run that by the accessibility police with that white text. I think if you were to make the button a bit bigger as well. Yeah, I mean, I'd need to check that, but it looks okay to me. But I'm looking at it on a professional display, so I think that's the thing with a lot of color and in terms of accessibility as well. You might look at it on your display and it looks fine, but then you sort of have to understand that not everyone is seeing it on a professional display. Like I used to have a really cheap monitor, and I had a really good monitor as well, and I would design things so they looked just right on the good monitor, like the professional display. This is years ago now. And then on the terrible monitor, the cheap one, the color would look washed out and everything. And parts of UI design that looked fine on the professional display were almost invisible. You really couldn't see them because the color on the cheaper one was so bad. So that's why it's worth kind of just checking stuff like that if you're not sure. You can get accessibility color checkers free online, just to kind of get an idea of if you're towing the line, so to speak. Gary Cooper, hi Dansky, quick question. I submitted some designs to the Dropbox a month or two ago for review. Are you still working through them or only doing new submissions? I wasn't working through them, but I can go back and grab some of the old ones if that's something people are interested in. I kind of, with these, we used to do it in that I would just take a bunch of designs and then work through them week by week. And now it's more just, you know, I'll just kind of go through them on stream and, you know, whoever submits what. I'll admit it's very unorganized, but, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, that's a good point. We'll crack on to another design because that is an entire website and we haven't got time to go through the whole thing. So let's have a look what people have been submitting. But yes, Gary, if you want to submit the same one again, I'll make a point of reviewing it today. Right, hang on. Let's open this up. Dansky, how many hours is your course? Well, Allington, I'm so glad you asked. Segue. Yeah, so this is the Adobe Illustrator Masterclass. To answer your question, it's around about 6 to 7 hours. So I've been using Illustrator for about 17 years now. Long time, and I've made tons of mistakes. I've done things the wrong way for years. And I think I've got to a point now where it's fair to say that I know what I'm doing with it. And essentially what this course, it took me about 6 months to make. And what the goal was to take all of the main tools and features in Illustrator, all of the correct ways of using these tools and features, strip out all the fluff, all the wrong ways of doing things, the mistakes, and try to teach 17 years of using it in a short amount of time as possible. So people can just learn Illustrator and then just get creating stuff. That was the goal. And yeah, so it's about 6 to 7 hours. And it will take someone from a complete beginner to installing Illustrator for the first time all the way through to using like the mesh tool, all the drawing tools. So if you've seen me on the stream using pencil tools and smooth tools and drawing lettering and things, that's all covered in there as well. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. It took a long time to make, and the reception to it has been really, really positive. And so I'm very pleased and relieved because it took me so long to make. So yeah, if you are interested in just learning Illustrator, it might actually be the fastest way to learn Illustrator in its entirety on the planet. I don't know if there's another course out there that teaches this amount of stuff in the curriculum that does it in such a short amount of time. I could be wrong, but when I was making this, I didn't want to make it like a 20-hour course, because 20 hours is a long time. So I wanted to kind of trim the fat, so to speak, and keep it focused on covering exactly what people would need to know to have a successful career in design, or if you want to learn to use Illustrator to design flyers and business cards and bits and pieces for a business. Like, I know a lot of business owners might use something like Illustrator to bring the design work in-house. There's a lot of different reasons, but yeah, that was the goal, was just to kind of teach someone Illustrator as quickly as possible. So yeah, so if you are interested in that, there's a link to the course, and obviously don't forget to sign up here as well, because then you get 15% off. And with the course, you get access to the community and basically access to me. So if you ever have a question or you get stuck, I will always be there to help you. And yeah, end of segue. You can use gold, just use the darker text on the button. Access. I knew you were going to say something, Mike. We need to get you a badge. Accessibility police. Maybe that could be a stream. We'll do some badge design. That'd be interesting. Reese, I was waiting for your input. That's a good point, Mike. The best thing to do with the web is to start with the atomic pieces, fonts, colors, line, letter spacing, do your accessibility, then move on to the high fidelity design, text, color, styles. Yeah, and that's the great thing about stuff like XD and Figma, right? Is that you can do that up front, and then you can define those as styles. And then as you continue to build out all the pages or the screens of an app, if you decide you want to change colors or you want to increase font sizes and things, you can literally just do it all from the kind of assets panel or components panel, whatever software you're using. And then it just propagates those changes across everything. Because I remember back in the day when you designed like a whole load of pages in Photoshop, and then it's like, oh yeah, can we make the text a bit bigger? It's like, yeah, sure, okay. I'll just go through all 30 pages and make that text a bit bigger manually. And it took a while. You should create an After Effects course as well. I really learned a lot from you explaining After Effects. Ooh, good to know. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of After Effects in a while, but I am looking at doing more courses. That is the goal this year, is to kind of build on the Illustrator Masterclass and do more courses. Namely because I've just got so much stuff and experience in my head, things that I've learned that I use every single day, and I need to get it out of my head. into a course, into multiple courses, because there's just so much more that I could be teaching people. So yeah, that is the goal. What is the timing hours of your course? Morning, afternoon, or evening? Oh no, Josie, the course you can take whenever you like. So it's essentially, I think it's up to 74 pre-recorded videos. I've added a few extra lessons and like a bonus section. But it's 74 pre-recorded videos. So the course you can take whenever you like. There's an app so you can take it on the go as well. So if you want to carry on with the course while you're on a bus or something, or I don't know, in the library or in the park, wherever you are, there's an app as well. It's not like at set times, but both the web and the course looks amazing. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the website took a while to make. Anyway, let's get on to some designs. I need some music as well. I need some music. Okay. Oof, what do we got? Ooh. Is this your barbecue, Zakir? I gotta show this first. Yeah. This is the barbecue in Bangladesh. Sold. I love it. Ooh, okay, we'll start with this. I can tell you now that I'm not going to have a lot to say on this because I love it. Akela Abot. Yeah, I don't have any context for what this is. So if you do have context, please do let me know. Geotermea. Yeah. So Akela Abot, we've got A, and then that would be like another A as well. Yeah, I do like this. Nice. It looks very smart and very professional. Okay, I'm just going to say this, but this is very much a personal preference. And I'm doing this without any context. So it looks very, very professional, very clean, very smart. The only thing I'm not really jiving with is the rounded corners on the serifs. Like for this one personally, I'd love to see like a squared off serif. Whoa, where you go, mouse? Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's because I'm not used to seeing like a rounded serif as much. And I know that is a real nitpick. Yeah, like here there's a sort of squared off edge. I don't know. I mean, I'm aware that is probably a real nitpick. But there's something about, I think it's, yeah, like there's something about the way these parts are rounded off on the T. Normally, like a serif lowercase t can look really smart. And there's something about those rounded corners that I don't think I would do that personally, you know? I don't know, maybe that's just me, but what do you guys think to that? That's the main thing that's standing out. I do quite like the kind of way the A is sort of hidden. I mean, maybe you could show a bit more of that, just so it's a bit more obvious that it's an A, but maybe not, you know? It looks smart, though. Now I'm hungry. Just bought it. Thank you for all you do. Oh, wow. Yeah. Elias. Hello, hello. Oh, you legend. Oh, Sir Lallington. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for enrolling. And as I said earlier, you know, if you ever have any questions as you're going through the course, or you just, you want an opinion on something. Essentially, anyone who's enrolled in the course, you are supporting me in my journey as an educator, and I'm here in return to support you. That's the way I see it. So, I'm not interested in just selling people products and then, see you later. Nah, I'm not interested in that. It's a two-way street. That's just the way I see it. So yeah, if you do have any questions or any feedback on the course or anything, honestly, just get in touch. Absolutely, Reese. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm always here. I'm always here lurking in the community. Oh, that's really made my day, that has. Thank you so much. Welcome to Bangladesh, my friend. Yeah, that's pretty much the only bit of feedback I've got on this one, to be honest. I mean, obviously, I'm working with the limited context, but I do like it. Yeah, really nice. That would work. It's stacked at the minute, but it would kind of pair side by side quite nicely as well. And this could even work quite nicely as maybe a pattern almost. You could tile that and then you could use that. Yeah, really nice. Right, let's crack on because I know we've got lots and lots of designs. Oh, these are cool. Okay, yeah, I think we're gonna have to roll some of these into next week's session. Definitely, these are really cool. Right, let's whip these open. Photoshop. Okay, this is by Abdul Hadi. Is that Abdul in the chat? I hope it is. Dan, do you have experience in web design? Yeah, I've probably got more experience in web and UI design than graphic design, to be honest. Well, professional anyway. Like I spent most of my career working as a web and then a UI designer. I do actually do a lot of UI design, and I did a lot of UI design, and that was kind of what I became known for with my freelance business before I left that to do full-time YouTube in 2017. So yeah, if you've got any UI design questions, yeah, definitely let me know. Okay, this is yours. Excellent. Right choice construction. Okay. So we've got the tick, and then we've got the... Okay, to me, this looks like a battery, but I'm guessing is it a building or some kind of structure? Feed me context, Abdul. Okay, yeah. The first thing that's standing out to me that I really like is the color palette. It's just so different. It's not what you'd normally get. Sometimes a lot of construction companies can look very corporate. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, looking corporate, but it just, I don't know. Maybe there's room to just add a bit more fun and a bit more color. There's no brief. It just came to my mind. Oh, I get that as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. If I'm being honest, it's not evoking construction to me. I like the kind of shapes. Spacing there looks consistent. Just digging in and looking at some of those little details. Things line up. We've got consistent angles. So in terms of technical execution, spacing, yeah, it's almost the same, yeah. Technical execution, yeah, you got all the points there, Really, really tight technically. I think the area that needs improvement would be the concept itself. Because I think fundamentally, if I'm just being completely honest, it's not evoking construction. And yeah, and I think actually, I think part of the reason might be going back to this initial idea of taking the tick or the check mark and combining it with this shape here. To me, this shape doesn't look like a structure. It looks more like a battery. Now, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I think fundamentally at that stage, it's kind of making it harder for that to translate into something that I think is going to be suitable for a construction company. So what I would probably do is, instead of kind of going over this in more detail, I'd probably go back to this stage, keep the tick or the check mark, but I would make this look more like a structure, or work with something that is more structure, construction, in terms of the like iconography, you know? And then I think if you have something there that looks more like a structure or more construction related, inevitably when you go to actually combine those two together, this end result up here will feel more related to construction. Does that make sense? I would love to see construction trucks wrapped and rolling around in these colors. I know that I love it. I really do love it. It's just so different. I'm thinking of going into UI design direction, and I'm trying to find tutorials or more about this field. I mean, yeah, there's Adobe XD. Figma is a great one. If you're new to it and you're thinking of learning one, I would start with Figma from the off, personally. Yeah, it would be nice to do a Figma course one day. But again, that just kind of plays on what I was saying earlier. You know, I know so much about UI design, and I haven't even got any kind of UI design related courses or anything. Yeah, so that's definitely the goal this year, is to just teach more of what I know. Parastas, maybe use that middle black thing and turn it into a hammer. Yeah, so that would be a good starting point. Would be brainstorming if you wanted to kind of create a logo that is visually representative of what the product or the brand is, or the company does. That's cool. And I would experiment, instead of this yellow icon here, experiment with brainstorming ideas for what evokes construction. So we've got hammers, we've got diggers, different tools, we've got buildings, we've got maybe cranes. You know, is there scope that a crane and that check mark? I mean, if you look at it, it kind of already is a crane, right? We've got the bit where the person sits there. We've got the crane going up. You dangle a little wrecking ball or something. I don't know. So you've kind of got possibly a crane there. And then I would look at all these different ideas that you've brainstormed and think, okay, how could I combine one of these with the check mark, and which one of these ideas is most suitable? That's kind of where I would start personally, you know? Oh, Paul says if the tick was a crane. Sorry, Paul, I didn't see that comment, honest. If the tick was a crane and the other shape was more of a building, like, perhaps, yeah. So if that was more like a building and that was a crane, you could quite literally kind of pair them almost together. What if that shape was not there? Which shape? Is that this shape here? Oh, okay. Yeah. So for the first time I saw it, I thought it was an electric cell. Yeah. Adding windows. Yeah. So you could still use that shape, but yeah, if you added a windows or a door or some, perhaps maybe a bit more detail, just so it does look like a building or a structure. Welcome to the stream, Poppy. She's home. Hopefully that's helpful anyway, but I think the consensus on the colors is that it's refreshingly different. construction can look very corporate and clean and professional sometimes, but not a lot of pizzazz. You know, not a lot of sparkle. So it's refreshing to see. I mean, as Reese said, you know, seeing construction trucks with that wrapper or something with those sort of colors would be, yeah, it'd be good, be interesting. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Eeny, meeny, miny. Okay. Right. This is by Andrea. Veggie Vitality. First of all, I love the little carrot. That is so cute. I think when you're going to have like a character or something, it just like for me, that just the expression on the carrot's face is just so perfect. It just captures like personality. Do you know what I mean? Like you just got the eyes and the smile and the little highlight. The lettering's interesting. So I'm gonna assume that that's drawn. Andrea, if you're in the chat, is this a font or is this drawn? Because it looks hand drawn. Josie loves the face. Yeah, it's cute, isn't it? It's cute. I think I just cracked the thicker enigma. What? You mean you've got a design that you've cracked it with? If that's true, Mike, you need to send this to me like right now. I've got so many half-finished designs of Figma where I've tried to like force the letters to interlink and it just hasn't worked. Yes, it is. Okay. I mean, I forgot what my question was. Hand-drawn. Yes, hand-drawn letters. Okay. So initial thoughts on the letters, I think because it's not a font, I think there's going to be these inconsistencies with the kerning between letters. So I think the spacing just needs like a little bit of adjusting ever so slightly. And like down here, what I would do is, and again, this is a personal preference. If I was doing this on a project recently, it was Luke's Iced Coffee. I had that darn stroke. And for me personally, I like it when there's either a clearly defined gap or they actually kind of, you know, butt up like this. I think personally, I quite like this one where they sort of connect. So I'd like, you know, maybe I'd go in and I'd move the eye up a little bit as well. And then grab the A. So essentially the point I'm trying to make is that I think when they get so close, they should either be deliberately connected or deliberately separated. Have I like duplicated everything? Oops. Yeah, and sometimes you might get an issue like that. I'll just probably, because they're custom drawn letters, I'll probably just rotate it to get around that issue. Sorry, I think I duplicated everything by mistake. Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of intentionally connected. I'm drawing this out in fresco and I think I have it, but it'll have to be clear for the next stream. It's just pencily. Oh, Mike, you tease. You tease. I thought you were going to ride in on a white horse then and save us all. All right, next stream. The next stream will probably be Friday, so no pressure. Right, we need a photo of Mike now on a white horse. We can do some photo manipulation as well. I've got this image in my head of Mike riding a white horse, holding a flag with the thicker design, the final finished design that just shatters all the controversy, destroys the enigma, and it will be on the flag. What was I saying? Yeah, so sorry, I get distracted easily. So lettering, yeah, I would make it deliberately separate or deliberately kind of together. Personally, I'd probably do the same for the top. So whichever way you go with it, I'd keep it consistent. Just quickly squish that. I think at the moment, it's kind of, I'm reading it as eggy. And I know that's kind of the V. So I think our little carrot friend would... Oh, it's tricky. Probably need to come a bit closer. So it's read more as veggie, but also the stroke weight. You know, this character guy, he's got like quite a thick stroke. The stroke here is a lot thinner. So yeah, same with these top ones. So I would definitely have a consistent stroke weight that you're using throughout the design. I like the face. I think these details, they might get lost at a very small size. So what you could do is, let me just try. Why are you not rounding off? Oh, hang on. Width profile. Hang on, I might need to get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. Right. Okay, so what happened there basically was if you apply a width profile to a stroke, you can see here it tapers the ends off, which is great, but then I can't go and round those off, or not easily anyway. So what I would do personally is I would reset that to a uniform one, then change the cap from butt to round. Then once you've rounded the caps off, then I would go and do the tapering. I've come up against this many times. And you could still square it off, but then you can swap back to round. Whereas if you kind of get crazy with the width tool and then start trying to round things off, it's like, nope. Yeah, so that's what I would do here is I would just perhaps round them off slightly, thicken them up, maybe make them a bit bigger, make the stroke a bit thicker. Just so when we're kind of looking at this at a very, very small size, that face is still clearly visible. In fact, let me just try something. I know I just got rid of some of the carrot detail now, and that's naughty of me. But I just want to see what it looks like with the face a bit bigger. Because I think it's such a cute character, and if this was like heading up a website, I think that the details in the face would get a bit lost. Let's just remove the extra circle for the time being. Yeah, so that would be one thing to check. I'm kind of zooming out and looking at this now, and if that was in a website, it would be... Oh, Illustrator, what are you doing? Yeah, it would be quite hard to see the character's face. So that would be something I would definitely recommend testing, is how it looks at a smaller size. It's such a cute character. So if I copy that, and I don't know if I can go back to the beginning. Let's have a look. Right, I think that's the beginning. And then if I paste that in. Hide the artboards. Where are you? Yeah, so we've got like an initial before and an after. So there's probably a few more things I would tweak on this. I'd probably center Yeah, so let's group those together. I'd probably center that. You see there, it's just kind of snapping. So I definitely want to center that first one and then adjust both of these on the side so that they are equally spaced either side of that. So we have that symmetry as well. But hopefully that's helpful anyway. Okay, let me call the hype. I have an idea. I feel too much pressure. Cheers, Scott. See you next time. Lol, now you owe us that. That's a good point. Scott, would it help to match the bottom V design to the carrot V design? Yeah, so I was thinking that. It's a difficult one. Because this one is definitely more V-like. This one here is definitely more carrot-like. Is there one perfect V that looks like a V but that can also look like a carrot? Maybe. If that's possible, that would probably be a good way to go. Yeah, so either maybe make them either the same or make them more different. It feels like the E and the G is talking to each other. It really does, doesn't it? It feels like the E and the G is talking to each other, and G has a question for other G, but first G isn't interested and just isn't listening. I don't know what the I and the E are doing. I and E look like they're waiting for a bus or something. Such a cute logo, says Rebecca. Yeah, it does look playful, Josie. You're right. Maybe move the V character to the bottom of Vitality so that it lines up better. Yeah, there's a lot to play around with there because, for example, I could move this over and line it up, and then that kind of allows me to kind of slot this in along here. I could even angle it to kind of, you see there, it curves around the E. And sometimes having a character like this with these kind of exclamation points or whatever, having it angled can look quite cool as well. And it just kind of follows the curvature of the E. I don't know, just an idea. Or something else you could do is rotate the E to follow the curvature of the character. Yeah, lots of different options there. But then it goes back to just making sure that that is read as this is a tricky one, because to me that says veggie, and down there it's, because it spans both lines, it's easier to read that as eggy vitality. Poppy says, oh my god, I love the carrot. Adil says, I think the colors could be better. What is it about the colors, Adil, that you're not really feeling? So rotating the carrot, you like that? So with the align, could we get rid of the V on vitality? We could, but then again, we've got to be careful because this V, this carrot, that I'll be honest, doesn't, it looks more like a carrot than a V, and now has to basically start both these words. And I could see someone saying, why does it say eggy vitality? Do you know what I mean? Like if this was, like if I just quickly draw, let me just kind of show you what I'm waffling on about. This is obviously not going to be as good, but You see, that is clearly, actually, that turned out better than I thought. You see, that is clearly Veggie Vitality. That is much more V-like, and it's going to be doing the work for both of those. So you might get away with it more. But I think because this is a character and it uses different colors and there's so many different factors, don't know if that can work as hard as that other V can, you know? And I think because it has different colors as well. If it was all green, of course, it wouldn't make sense then because carrots, to my knowledge, aren't green. Let's try it, actually. Let's just try and pick a... Yeah, you might maybe a little bit more, but because of the difference in color and the orange, it's like it wants to be a V and a carrot, and I don't know if it can be both. Nick says it feels more organic with the carrot rotated. Organic, is that a healthy pun there? Are you making puns, Nick? I was going to say it can feel a bit more dynamic, but I always kind of I don't like saying that because the word dynamic is just such a, I don't know, it's a bit of a nonsense word. Like it can just add a bit of movement or a bit of something to it, especially with the kind of poofy bits coming out the top of the carrot, you know? The color, the vitality with the carrot's color. All right, all right. I'll bite, Josie. Let's have a go. I mean, yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, and again, it's like maybe that could work for that, but then eggy. Do you know what I mean? It's so I think if you wanted to make this design work, I think you could probably take the face. The face is great. We love the face. That's fine. The challenge here is to make that look as much like a carrot and as much like a V as possible. And I think to achieve that, it's going to be drawing and redrawing this shape a lot. I can't redraw it there because it's multi-layered. I feel like that you'd need to have a go at redrawing the shape of that to be as carrot and as V-like as possible. And then pop the face back on. That's what I would do personally. If there is even a right kind of perfect shape there that is V, is a good V and a good carrot, if that makes sense. It's farm to table now. We love the face, we do. How about you put the carrot as a standalone symbol next to the text with the V you drew before? I probably wouldn't do that because otherwise you've got this big prominent V and a big prominent carrot. I would personally probably go with the carrot and do everything I just said and make it work for both, or I would move that out and then I would draw a little V. Like that. Whoa, where are you going? You see what I mean? So you've got Veggie Vitality, clearly legible, no issues, and then we still have our little carrot friend over here. So a few different ways that you could go with that one, but hopefully all of that waffle is good as a starting point. No, so James, yeah, I took the carrot details out and the circle around the edge because they're just like these incidental details that they're so easy to add back in and they're not fundamental to the effectiveness of the logo. That's why a second ago I took the face out and I threw the face over there. The face is like adding the face is super easy. Getting the shape right and making sure this logo works on a fundamental level, that's the challenge. So all the incidentals, they could just go away for the moment. I'm going to focus on getting this right. Then I can bring them back in if I need to, or redraw the lines, or do you see what I mean? And sometimes as well, sometimes by taking details away like that, you might go through this process and then realize, oh, actually, it didn't really need the lines on the carrot. Or maybe it needs more lines, you know? Yeah, I don't, yeah, adds some personality, doesn't it? And if it is a brand for kids, you know, having a face or a character like that, just perfect. Right, let's move on to another one. Oh my goodness. How is it nearly 4:30? These streams always go so quick. Ooh, okay. Utsav, haha, I believe you're in the chat. Hopefully you're still there. I can share the thicker concept. Where do I send it? Yes, Michael. Okay. If you send that to hello@dansky.com, and I will eagerly await this email. Right, so we have the Bling Whiz. I've got no idea what the Bling Whiz is, but it sounds amazing. Utsav, feel free to provide context for what this is, what I'm looking at. My initial impressions are I love this typeface. I love how it's got these kind of sharp, almost like a flag on a golf hole. Like just this sort of this sharp angle. Replacing the dots on the eyes with stars, which I'm not normally a massive fan of. I find it a bit cheesy, but I think it looks quite smart in this example. Actually, I think maybe it's more like this sort of stereotypical 5-pointed stars or something, you know, or hearts and things. But having like a little sparkle, yeah, it looks smart. And this is a really good example actually of pairing two different fonts. I definitely love the Bling Whiz font more than this one, but I think it does pair quite nicely. Positioning. Would it nestle quite nicely in there? Maybe. How would that sit in a website header versus that? Would it utilize space better? Maybe. Yeah. The Bling Whiz. Okay. Sorry, I thought you would end the live and I needed the work review. It's a jewelry brand related to pop culture wizarding stuff. So the Bling plus Whiz. Gotcha. Okay. So the Bling plus Whiz. Is it is it meant to say Bling Whiz? Is there a G that's meant to be in there, or is this kind of like an abbreviation? Just Bling Whiz. It does, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have guessed jewelry just looking at this without any context, but it definitely evoked something like I was getting more clothing, but you know, fashion clothing. We're kind of in the same ballpark there, I think. You know, I wouldn't look at this and think, oh, this is an ice cream brand. Yeah, because it does look very, very smart and stylish. And I think the sparkle as well, you know, jewelry, it kind of makes sense. Just an abbreviation. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think if it was obviously this isn't my project, but if it was my project and I could just do anything I liked, I would love to just get rid of the word "the" and just have that on its own. I know we can't always just do that, but how about the colors and the logo? Yeah, in terms of this part of the logo is definitely my favorite. Details. Do you know the name of the font, Utsav? because I think there's some things in some letters I'm liking more than others. Small the on the left side. Yeah, you could. I think there's definitely ways you could get the in there. It looks luxurious and expensive. Yeah. Yeah. I I think I like the colors. And I think this is why it's important to mock things up as well, because I'm looking at the colors, but I'm just looking at this as a, one color on another color. I think for me to make a more effective determination on color, I'd need to see these colors mocked up on a jewelry bag, on signage in store. I could see this on a bag for a jewelry shop. I could see that. But it would be good to see the mock-up of the colors actually in the store where they're actually being used. Whereas this is like a very kind of isolated incident. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, I think the colors or colors similar to this could work, but I would probably need to see that mocked up on various bits of, point of sale material, bags, business cards, and what have you, to make a more accurate determination. You know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah, the reason I was asking about the font Utsav is because most of it I like. I do like most of it. There's some little details though. If I'm being a real nitpicker, which of course you guys know I am, the way this curves down, I'd like to see that curve and then go straight. Whereas here it's got this kind of, and that's a real nitpick there. But I should make myself a t-shirt, the nitpicker or something. But I really, really do not like the Z here. It just goes all wibbly wobbly. So to me, that should kind of do something like that. Let me just shrink that down. Can you see what I mean? So, and I think that's not on Unit itself. That's just some fonts. Some fonts are better created than others. There's some fonts I've got that I love, but they haven't been kerned correctly. So certain characters just don't pair well in terms of spacing. So what I would do personally is I would probably work with this font, but little details like that, you see there, the little kink, that should be smoothed out. I'd probably redraw this to kind of be nice and smooth. And then I would copy one of those serifs and I would go and paste it anywhere else that needed it. So here you can see this one here. This one has less of a kink, so there's no kink there, and it tapers off consistently. So I think, yeah, but this one doesn't. This one has a kink there and a wonky taper. So yeah, that's what I would do. I know that's very, very granular. I'm apologizing for nothing. This is just the kind of things this is what I see and what I look at. Yeah, that could be a slightly smoother curve. So I think, yeah, generally 90% of it, 95% of it is just all solid, looking really good. But I would personally go through and just fix any kind of little kinks and curves and things that could be smoother and that kind of stuff with the lettering. And I would do that with any font that I'm using. I always kind of would check a font I'm using just because, like I say, some fonts are better designed than others. It just depends kind of where you got the font from and who designed it. Figure is sent. There's a time lapse and a crappy PNG. It's about the idea, less the execution, for sure. Go easy. Go easy. This is the concept. Let's have a look. Mike. I think he's done it. I think he's done it, guys. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, even just as a raw concept, I feel like with the right execution and probably some like time to finesse it, I think you cracked it, mate. Hang on, let me whip this up. Let's get that white horse ready. Okay. But yes, so thank you, Ustav, for sending that one in. We'll just wrap this one up. Yep, really cool. And hopefully all of that kind of feedback from me was helpful. Right, now let's look at Flickr. Right, so we've got an MP4 and we've got the JPEG. Yeah, so we've got the fire and then we've got the ice, all kind of, I guess the ice is sort of dripping a bit, but then we've got the rest of it in the shape of the flame. You'd need to use red and blue to separate the colors somehow. So stylistically, how you'd approach that, I'm not sure. But maybe you just blend the red and the blue together. But we've got a lovely time lapse. So Lallington, great logo. Come on, can't show it. I thought you were going to poop on it. No. Yeah, no, I can see, Mike, what you're going for. Even though it's like obviously a rough concept that I think you just put together, like I could see the potential in it. Yeah, it's cool. I think the clincher will be the use of color to separate the two words. If you can nail that, that would probably, at least in my opinion, that would be the hardest thing to do. Is like figure out a way to kind of separate or blend the red and the blue in a way that works well as a logo, you know? Anyway, I'll shut up now and we can watch the time lapse. Yeah, so we've got the sketching. Mike, did you do this just now while we're streaming? Nice. Let's watch that one more time. Nice. Very good, sir. Very good. I did do this during the stream lunch break. Nice. Oh, amazing. Impressive. So where did that come from? Did that idea just like pop into your head? Yeah, nice work indeed. Since I started watching these videos and streams, I'm constantly thinking, what would Dansky think when I see logos? Oh, thank you, Sarah. Hopefully it's not like a nagging voice, like what would Dansky think, wagging the finger at these curves. Excellent, Utsav. Oh, I'm glad that's helpful. I'm really glad. Yeah, I always felt like it should be a flame to capture the wiggliness so that both things can mesh together. Yeah, it I'm pretty sure actually. I think the very first design review, I'm pretty sure that was Flickr. Design review number 1. I'm pretty sure that was the Flickr stream. This is design review number 30. So this is the 30th design review stream. And Mike just comes out with that absolute banger on a nice round 3-0. So thank you for that, Mike. If you do turn that into like a finished design, like I think I speak for everyone when I say we'd love to see the finished one. Obviously no pressure, but oh, that's amazing. Right, let's do a few more. I will have to go and see my children at some point. was going to say unfortunately then, but I won't, just in case they're watching. Oh, nice. Okay, we've got another logo. Oh, right. Oh, before we do this one, we'll do one more quick segue. So if anyone's interested in checking out the Adobe Illustrator Masterclass, this is the course that I painstakingly spent 6 months making. And it's designed to take someone from a absolute beginner through to learning pretty much everything that I know about Adobe Illustrator that I've learned over the last 17 years. So if you want to just learn Illustrator with about 6 to 7 hours worth of video, and just then get stuck in designing stuff and not be like limited by knowing which tool to use, or, you know, how do I use this? How do I use that? This course will cover pretty much all of it. It will more than cover everything you need to know for a career as a designer. And I will be there to help you if you do get stuck. So if you want to just, you know, learn Illustrator and know that you have someone who's always there that you can get in touch with, then I was going to say this is the course for you. But yeah, if you do enroll, I will always be there to support you for sure. And if you're thinking about it, definitely don't forget to sign up there at the mailing list, because you get a code for 15% off emailed straight to you. So yes, segue done. I'm getting better, James. I'm getting better. As you can probably tell, marketing is not my strong suit at all. I've made this course and I'm like, yeah, this course is great. And then I forget to actually like tell people about it, and I have to keep being reminded. Or like in the last stream, we did the Figma stream. Someone else was like promoting the course at the bottom. I'm that bad. People in the stream have to promote it for me. Oh, funny. Then we can make Figma t-shirts and get Figma logos. I mean, Figma tattoos. Yeah, we'll get some Figma tattoos, Mike. Mike. We should definitely turn the final design into a t-shirt. I think if you do a final design and you do like get it looking all great and shiny and everything, I think we should definitely make it into a t-shirt, right? It deserves a t-shirt at this point. Eduardo, I just sent my mess attempt of designing my first logo. I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh wow, that's a good pitch. I like that. Right, font issues here. Okay, let me just get around those. So let's, if I open this in Photoshop, it might let me get around the font issues. Yes, there we go. Cool. Okay, so I can't play around with this now, but that's fine. So we've got happy travels. We create happy tales. I mean, first off, I got to say that's very clever. Car, headlights, smiley face. Absolute banger. Works, single color. I love the single color. Taxi sign, car icon, happy face. A couple of different colorways. That's really clever. I do like that. This should be symmetrical. I was going to say, I hope this is symmetrical. But hang on a second. Let me just copy this over and flip it around, because I suspect that these wing mirrors are not the same. Or are they? Are my eyes deceiving me? No, they are not the same shape. So that's probably the main thing I would say, is just pick your favorite half and copy it over and flip it. This one here caught my eye because it was a bit more squared off and a bit more flat on that side. This one just looks a bit more rounded. They should, in fact, the entire design, it should 100,000% be perfectly symmetrical with no exceptions whatsoever. And everything should be centrally aligned, and that's a non-negotiable there. It pretty much is, but just a couple of little things there. But in terms of the font, looks like kind of oh, what's that font? It's not Arial rounded, is it? It looks like the fridge magnet font. You know, you get the letters that you put on the fridge. I like the single color too. Brilliant design, very nice. I like the font choice, works well with the logo. Yeah, I do. I think it works well with this particular logo. I would probably bring the words happy and travels just a pinch closer together. Yeah, I'd probably just nudge that up a little bit. And it's always good as well. I know this is just like a one-pager, but it's always good to kind of see the logo on its own, the mark on its own, the logo and the mark with the tagline. Just because sometimes, you know, sometimes a logo won't actually have the tagline there. So it's just good to kind of see how it works on its own. Of course, the text here would come down. Whoa. But I think, yeah, generally for the most part, I mean, text color, black. Should it be blue and green? Should it be blue or green? I don't know. My initial thought was the black felt a bit, I don't know, like the colors, you got blue, green, and then just black. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I'd have to let that one sort of marinate a bit. And if that were my design, I'd probably have to kind of sleep on that one or go and have a nice cup of tea or something. Because yeah, I'm sure they must have tried it in blue and green. B round font. Okay, is that the font? Right, let's have a look. B round font. Oh, hang on. I can't type. Nice, B round. Is that? I don't know if that is the same font. Oh, it might be actually. Yeah, where is that? What font am I on? What font am I on? What website? I can't speak. Yeah, this one here. B round. What's Arial rounded then? Why did I say that? Is that slightly different? I never Arial rounded is like a font that I would never really use. So I forget what it looks like. Oh no, it's not. It's different, but it's not too dissimilar. It's got that same sort of rounded corners, cutesy charm. But yeah, that's really cool. I like that one. Very nice. Dansky, the reflect tool is the O button, by the way. Absolutely. I don't think Photoshop's got a reflect button, though. Maybe move the R to the left a bit so the I and L can align. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? It's difficult though, yeah, because you could move the R and you could shuffle all the letters, but you might mess up the kerning then. If there's a way that you could do it without that messing up. Also, the T feels a bit too far to the left, so it's... I don't know if it can work in this instance. It would be nice. Does the H line up with the T? No. Ah, yeah, sorry. Sorry, Paul. I say things and then I see that you've already said it. Move ravels all to the left. Yeah. Yeah. Stephen, I didn't used to use the reflect tool that much, and then I got so much let's just say friendly abuse from someone called Kai, who usually joins the streams, that now I started using the reflect tool just to avoid the abuse. And actually, yeah, I'm starting to really appreciate that the reflect tool, it is like you say, it's O on the keyboard, it's really quick and easy. And actually sometimes it if you use it effectively, you don't have to then reposition. You can just reflect something and boom, it's in the right position. So it is a very good tool, a tool that I didn't really fully appreciate. But now I use it a lot more. Oh, so many designs, so little time. Stock. What is this? Ah, ooh, okay. Let's do a bit of photo manipulation. Let's mix it up a little bit. Okay, nice. So these are all the images used. Balloon, lots of land. Got a goat skull, rocks and ivy, some birds and clouds. And then this is the final composition. That's really cool. What do we think? Oh, there was another design, wasn't there, as well? Eduardo. Eduardo, what was it called, your logo design? Did it have your name? I'll be honest, you said that your logo design is a total mess and you don't know what you're doing. It's actually intrigued me and I want to see it now. I got it. Okay, I got it. All right, we'll do that one next. We'll do that one next. Project Atlas. Okay. It's one of my favorite tools. I use it on almost every logo. Yeah. Your insights were helpful. Excellent. Oh, fantastic. I always try to be as helpful as I can. Anyway, right. So going from, yeah, so we've got the clouds here, right? So you can kind of really see that a lot of the mood in the image does come from that sort of dramatic sunset cloud image. Yeah, it'd be nice if this was a little bit higher res, just because it's sort of, obviously I'm blowing it up on a large monitor now, so it's pixelating a bit. So we've got clouds. I think the birds. I don't think the birds would have such pronounced highlights on them, so I think the birds should be purely silhouetted at that kind of scale anyway. I think the clouds, a lot of these clouds kind of, they came with highlights, although it looks like a lot of highlights have also been added in places. So kudos to you for that, because obviously the sun kind of being so bright. Yeah, there's been lots of little highlights added. Highlights around the edges here. These are beautiful. They're really, really nice. I think there's like a sun flare or something over there. It's not immediately obvious that it is like a sort of like a sun kind of lens flare because it's so subtle. So I don't know. I think it would need to look more like a kind of lens flare, like sun flare kind of thing. You know, when you get on what you get on the camera, I think it would need to look more like that. At the moment, it just looks like a random band of color. And I think the main thing that stands out to me that I'm not liking as much as the water. Yeah, everything else just looks like it blends really nicely. We've got the highlights around the edge here, and it just feels like the water. I think it's because it's so dark as well. Yeah, because it's so dark, there's a lot of details that's quite hard to distinguish, like this stuff up here. So I'm guessing this is another rock in the foreground, and it's kind of blurred, but it all just, this corner looks sort of quite murky, and it doesn't look as much like it's in the foreground. So I would probably perhaps look at maybe blurring that a bit more, or trying something like field blur that can give a more realistic lens blur. But the kind of, I'm guessing this is water here, because there was that yeah, is that, I'm guessing that's meant to be water. To me, this just looks like a purple and a blue kind of brush smudge just going, you know. Whereas, and I think it's because it's coming from the bottom of the mountain as well. It's kind of like, if it was a waterfall, I'd expect to see, I don't know, maybe some water coming down the mountain and then coming off the edge. But because it's just coming out the bottom, it's almost like this mountain is just leaking water. And I think that, plus it looks just kind of, it's very dark, just looks like a smudge that kind of has a very kind of shallow fall off here as well. Sorry, not a very harsh fall off. It kind of goes from full water all the way down and then nothing. It kind of just looks a little bit fake. I know the whole thing's fake, you know, you don't get floating mountains in the sky, but do you know what I mean? Like, I think the water there is probably and this bit here, that's probably the weakest part of the design for me. The highlights and all that kind of stuff is just absolutely brilliant. And highlights can be quite tricky to do as well, especially with such a dramatic scene like this. I love the way that you have the kind of floating rock in the sky, then you've got the kind of clouds that they sort of frame the scene quite nicely, almost as if this is like some kind of deity, and you've got all of the clouds here surrounding it, worshipping it. It's just a really nice composition. I almost wish this bit over here, I wish that was kind of gone, if I'm honest. I wish that would just go away and I could see the clouds kind of like the other side. Just because this bit here, I'm not a massive fan of the execution, as I've already said, but it would kind of give it, like, it would feel a bit more symmetrical. And it's sort of, at the moment, it throws it off for me a little bit. But yeah, really, really strong, really nice. The tool's called the Reflect tool. I'll just do a quick demo in Illustrator. So if you let's just draw a shape. Hey, whoa, pen tool master. So what I used to do was I would hold Alt or Option and Shift, and I can drag this out and duplicate it. Then I can flip it horizontally, and then I could put them back together. Okay, and that works. But as Kai and many other people have pointed out, it's quite slow. So what I can do instead is just press O for the Reflect tool. That's this little bad boy over here. And then if I hold down Alt or Option and click on this far right point, I can reflect it horizontally or vertically or on an angle. And then I can click copy and it will copy that. So before I would go drag out, flip, and then have to manually drag it back together. As you can see, it's not always a smooth process. Here I can press O, Option, click, copy, done. It's so much quicker. You do have to be a bit of a keyboard shortcut bandit to get the most out of that, but it's faster. Oh yeah, I think some people enjoy the streams and they don't say anything. They kind of they lurk in the background. Moosh is sometimes a lurker, and sometimes I watch streams just because it's nice to just have something to listen to. You know, you're doing work or something, and it's just nice to kind of have a bit of background noise. Why anyone would choose to listen to my voice as their background noise, I don't know, but you know, here we go. The waterfall needs a stronger, clearer image. Yeah, I think that's the main thing, Sir Lallington, as well. Sir Lallington, what's your name, if you don't mind me asking? Or I can keep calling you Sir Lallington. I like to get to know people. a bit better. I think it's I struggle with this as well. It's such a dark and dramatic image in terms of the lighting that it's a real fine balance between maintaining that dark and moody lighting, that very cinematic lighting, and not showing enough detail. So I think if it was me personally, there's so much rock and trees and lovely detail here that's very, very difficult to see because it's so dark. So it's a very fine line to balance to try and go and brighten up certain areas just a little bit so you can see more of that detail. And then I think, yeah, what you're saying here, the water is so dark, you don't get the kind of, it's hard to get the sort of, you know, the shiny sparkliness and the all the detail that water has at such a small size, and when it's so dark as well. That's why for me it just looks like a blue brush that's just been sort of, you know, drawn down the page. But actually the image is, you know, it looks like that. But I think, again, like I said, positioning could help to sell that a bit more. The fall off, you need to have, you know, the more dense water here, and then it turns into more droplets here, and then you've got the final sort of few droplets scattered here. So, and of course, if it was coming off the edge, so there's a lake up here and it's dripping off the edge, it just makes more sense as well. So it kind of helps to sell the realism of it a bit more. I press O and then hold shift. Ooh, okay, let's try that. Oops, I held the wrong button down then. Say that again. I press O and then hold shift and drag my mouse to the right. All right, O, hold shift. Oh, that's a nifty trick. Is that rotating it? Oh, that's weird. Hang on. Yeah, so that's the reflect tool. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just one of those things. I never really use it like this. Maybe this is why I didn't use the reflect tool for so long, as I kind of started using it like this incorrectly and trying to reflect. And I was like, I don't understand this tool. I'm never going to use it. And then I just kind of ignored it. Yeah, whereas the way I use it, I just kind of, I reflect along a specific point. Lurkers sound off. I'm in the background because I'm stuck on a monogram project. Oh no. Work and lurk for me, says Gary. Guilty of lurking. They're all coming out now. Sir Lallington, excellent. Sir Lallington it is. Higher res and fix the water, and it's really good. Exactly. Yes. I mean, it might be that there is a higher res version, but you know, I know sometimes people prefer to submit like a lower res version of their work, just, you know, so someone doesn't like rip it off or post it somewhere else or whatever, you know. Got to run. Thanks for a fun one. So glad these streams are back. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you for your contributions to Flickr. It's greatly appreciated. What would be truly cosmic? If a nice large goldfish was in the clouds, it would tie into the waterfall. I mean, yeah, why not? It's a very kind of surreal image, isn't it? We've got like floating rock, water coming out of it, birds and balloons. Why not have a giant fish in the clouds? That's the great thing about Photoshop, is you can literally, once you learn the tools of Photoshop, you can create anything. And I think I might have mentioned before, I'm actually working on a Photoshop course as well, because Photoshop's the one that I've used the longest, and it's probably, alongside Illustrator, it's one of my favorites. So just because, you know, the photo art stuff and the photo manipulation, it's like one of my favorite things to do. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I gotta teach people some Photoshop things. Right. Okay, we're gonna finish off with Eduardo. Eduardo's first logo design. Nice. We've got logos everywhere. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay, font issue. Barracks regular. Let me see if I can just grab that font quickly. 1001 free fonts. Excellent. Right, okay. Okie dokie. I'll just download this one. Just so I'm showing it with the proper font. Do. Okay. Right, let's try that again. Hopefully this works. Chalice Noggin? I don't know what font that is. All right, okay. It's only this word up here. We'll ignore the Chalice Noggin font. Atlas. Okay, so this is, if I remember correctly, Eduardo's first logo design. And he's new to this. And so we have a bunch of different logos. Oh no. Hey, you submitted this. Loving the course so far. Very polished and engaging. Excellent. Oh, that's so great to hear. Yeah. Well, okay. This is the thing I've learned at Sav is that, yeah, sometimes creating from scratch and composition and blending images together. There's so many little things that it's very easy to kind of use the wrong tool or the wrong feature in Photoshop, because like if I said to you, oh, you need to cut out the hair of a subject onto a transparent background, there's so many tools and different ways to do it, and some are better than others. And what I found with Photoshop is, especially when it comes to photo manipulation, it's the same with blending multiple images together, like balancing the exposure and the colors. I've used so many techniques over the years, and I've definitely got to the set of techniques now that I would consider the best. They always give the best results. And so that's what I want to bring into the Photoshop course, is like, Photoshop is a behemoth, but if you want the best results, these are the techniques to use, and just break it down in like a really kind of simple, easy to understand way. Because, and it's so funny because now I've learned them, it's like they're so easy as long as you know them. If you don't know them, it's like like, you know, it's like anything, you know, you don't know what you don't know, right? And once you kind of, at least once I learned them, and I was like, oh yeah, this is so much easier just blending images together. The quality of my work really improved. Those inside the rectangle are the ones I liked the most. Right. Okay. Which rectangle? This one here or the one on the right? We'll go with the one on the right, I'm going to assume. It looks very Japanese, ninja vibes. Right. I'm going to assume the box isn't meant to be there, so let's get rid of the box first. I mean, as far as first logo designs go, like, these aren't bad at all. But did I miss it? Oh, sorry. What was it for? Atlas Project. Yeah, what is Atlas Project? Could you just give me a bit of context as to what this is for? Is it for a fictional company or a real company, or what's the brand and the business? Just drop Leo off at football. Oh yeah, crap! I've got to pick Leo up soon. Okay, what time is it now? Quarter past, half past. Siri, set a timer for 10 minutes. All right, we're on the clock now. 10 minutes. We're on the clock now. Don't forget the kid. Dan, hey Dan, how are you? Ah, excellent name, Dan. Good to see you, Dan. I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Okay, it's a fictional company that does shipping on Earth and space. Nice. Okay. I plan to do an animation video showcasing the company's business app website. Oh, Atlas for Eli. Oh yeah, that's Eli's middle name, Atlas. I was trying to do a black hole, but that did not work out so great. Okay, it's a fictional company that does shipping on Earth and space. Okay. I like these. I'm just going to try something. I just have to see how this looks. So this part of the logo here. Oh, hang on. There we go. If I can select it. Yeah. I'm not sure what this is, and I'm not really sure what it's conveying. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't understand it. It's got like a location pin. It kind of feels a little bit like it's, I don't know, it could be part of a compass with the kind of flicks going top and bottom. Like if I were to kind of, you know, rotate these, a little bit compassy maybe. But I do understand this. That's why I was drawn to the planet at the top. I understand what that is. And there's part of me that's just, hang on, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? There's part of me that just wants to, you know, obviously this is a very, very quick and crude execution. But there's part of me that just wants to have a really kind of tasty arrow. Or something like that. Obviously that, please don't, yeah, that's obviously bad positioning of the arrow. I'd probably position the arrow here somewhere. But do you see what I mean? Like the planet with the kind of ring around it and the arrow, that conveys a bit more in terms of what were you saying? Shipping between Earth and space. And I don't know, maybe that's just me. It does look like Saturn, yeah. But I think the sort of main takeaway is it's like a planet. Whereas I wasn't really understanding kind of what I was looking at here. I think this one as well. This one has potential with the swoosh. Personally, I would try to avoid kind of covering parts of a logo like that. I'm always kind of saying on these streams that I think the best logos can work in a single color, just because sometimes logos need to be printed in just black, or they might need to be just white. So if I were to take this into a single color, I suppose it does still work, actually. No, to be fair, it does still work. I'm just personally not a fan of kind of having colors run over each other like that. Like if it was me personally, I'd probably just have that come down there rather than sort of. I suppose you could link it in, I suppose. End of the day, it's just my opinion. I'm just one person, but I mean, what you could do is use the intertwine feature and kind of do something like that. If you wanted to link it in a cheeky way. And that obviously, you know, using the planet, that's a very literal representation. But this is the kind of thing that could work as well, just having a swoosh and it's representative of delivery. I think the font looks, it's not my favorite font, but I think it's along the right lines. It does look very kind of modern, kind of sci-fi almost. There's lots of things with the letters that I'm not crazy about, I think. And I think that again comes down to the way the font's been created, you know, like little details. Like if I were to kind of, you know, measure this here, you know, you can see this part of the T is not even central. So to me, that tells me that it's a low quality font. It's not been made with a lot of attention to detail and care, if even the T isn't correctly balanced. But you could convert this to a shape and then you could adjust that. So it doesn't mean you can't use it. It just means, like I did before with Utsav's design. Was it Utsav's? I think it was, yeah. You have to maybe just go in and just scrutinize some of the details, just check the curves are consistent. That's what I would do if I'm using a font like that, you know. Just I would go in and manually just have a look, like here. You know, I would like to see that as a smooth curve. But actually, if we look at it here, you can see that it goes, whoa, it's all wibbly wobbly. Not that bad, obviously I'm exaggerating that, but it isn't smooth. So that's what I would do. If you want to use this font, I would scrutinize those kind of details if you want to be like obsessive like me. But also, as Sir Lalington said, yeah, the kerning as well. And the kerning is the spacing between individual pairs of letters. So the A looks a lot closer to the L than the S is. The S is much further away. And a good way to kind of, this is kind of something you have to do by eye. So it definitely takes some practice. But I would zooming out and looking at it from a longer distance is something that's quite good. And then I would just shuffle the A to the right a little bit. Then maybe the A and the T is a bit close. And sometimes I'll do this, go away, come back, and then I'll tweak it some more. Yeah, kerning is definitely like an art unto itself. I think that's a bit better. Yeah. Like it's going to be a preference. Like I'm not a massive fan of this letter S personally, but you know. I mean, you could even change it and customize it a bit. End of the day, it's just my opinion. But yeah, so that would be kind of, I know I've kind of tinkered with this a bit, but that would be my takeaway, is that I think trying to, you could literally convey the Earth and delivery in a very literal sense like this. We have planet with big arrow. You could go that route, or you could do something that is more kind of subtle and a bit more symbolically representative. So this thing here, this kind of swoosh, it kind of almost expresses a similar sentiment. You're going from one point to another, kind of like almost like a little kind of like a rocket, you know. This is sort of the thing you might see out at the end of a rocket. So if I just draw a really terrible plane, oh no, that's a terrible plane. That's more like a ghost. Pretend it's a plane. It's some sort of vehicle. That was awful. I'm sorry. I got to do that again. That was diabolical. Okay, we'll just draw a plane. Let's try and not screw this up. There we go, reflect all. Still not perfect, but it'll do. It'll do. Oh no. Time to go and get the boy. Do you see what I mean? I think I would have seen something that's what it reminds me of. I've seen that kind of swoosh with an airplane icon many times before. And you could even add the airplane onto it, but you don't necessarily, you don't need to. It's a bit more subtle though. But I think if you're going to do something like that and the lettering is going to become a big focus, and the lettering needs to be tight. That's the kerning, the details and the curves on the letters, the actual letter forms themselves, spacing here, like, you know, it's got to be tight. And I mean, you know, does it need the orange blob? The blob could go there. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas here, but that would be something to consider. Does it need the orange circle? Does it really add anything? Sometimes it can be a bit of a personal preference with that. I know, like, we designers, we like to add details and little kind of stylistic accents and flourishes to things. Sometimes, though, you get to the end of the process and it's like, actually, I'm just going to take away some of these smaller details I've added. Oh yeah, I don't really need them after all. So wibbly wobbly is the word of the day. Oh, the other one was supposed to be a compass because of the word atlas, meaning maps or charts. Okay, right. So yeah, I was getting a little bit of a compass vibe. Yeah, maybe it was the flicks. I don't know. Maybe it was the flicks. Maybe actually that as a starting point could work, and I don't know, just, you know, like some like a rocket. You know, I don't know. Maybe, obviously that's not ideal, but yeah, I don't know. You know, fire, rocket. Hmm. Yeah, I think you definitely. I think, like, I still think there's more work to be done on refining the mark, probably specifically. I think that's the bit that needs the most work in terms of the concept. I think, yeah, there's definitely the strongest ones out of the ones over here. But that would be the main thing. Apart from all the other stuff I've waffled on about for the last 15 minutes or so, I think it would just be about refining that mark. Yeah. It's an interesting one. I'm kind of getting ideas pop into my head as I'm just looking at it. My problem with swoosh is when you squeeze in some packaging or place it on a website, the text gets smaller. SpaceX logo. Yeah, is it? Maybe it's that. It's reminding me of something. It's a bit different, but yeah, it's got a swoosh in the X. Tell me which tool. Adding the little plane is good, lol. Yeah, I'll have to design the other assets for the animation. I was thinking of a plane changing to a rocket. Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, going from Earth to space. Dan, can you please tell me which tool you used to erase the line from S? Oh, this thing. Make it run behind. Yeah, gladly. So this is the what tool is this? Let's just draw a line. It's one of the newer tools in Illustrator. Is it 23 or 24? One of those versions. Select the line and the text, object, intertwine. And oh, hang on, let me release the other one. Object, intertwine, and make. And then you kind of draw over the section. Or, oh, now you can just click. You just click. And you can hide it or show it. Same over here. Clickety click. And it just puts things behind. Yeah, don't leave Leo stranded. Don't forget about the kid. Right you are, Scott. Yeah, no, I do need to go and get the child now. Oh, fantastic. Hey, thank you, Eduardo. And thank you so much to everyone for submitting so many great designs. I didn't get around to them all. I'll try and pack some more in next week. I'll keep hold of these and we'll kind of pick up where we left off and take in some new ones as well. I'm only one guy, unfortunately. I'd like to be able to do more, but this has taken 2 hours and 20 minutes. So right, before I go, if you have enjoyed today and you're looking at all these tools and thinking, oh, how am I going to learn these tools? I need to learn Illustrator. This is the course for you. So this is my Adobe Illustrator Masterclass. It will just teach you all of this stuff. And if you have questions, then I will be here to help you. I will always be here. And yes, that's the course. And I know, I'm sorry, Lebo. I'm only one person. I just can't get to everything. I will try and do it next time. And if you sign up to my mailing list, there is, what is there? There is a discount code. 15% off that you'll get sent to your inbox. And so yeah, there we go, James. I got it. I got the segue covered. Yes, I'll be here on Friday, and there is a good chance that Leah will be here as well. So hopefully see you then, JC. Thanks, Rebecca, Sema. Amazing. Thank you, Sir Lallington. Thank you so much for enrolling in the course as well. I really do appreciate that. As I said, always here if you've got any questions. And yeah, so yeah, thank you everyone. You're amazing, and I'll see you Friday.